Good evening, everyone. So we are back with another session in the digital forensics section of our internship training program. So we again have Yugal sir here. We in the last session uh, learned about the fundamentals of digital forensics from Yugal sir. So we again have him back with us, and we are here back to take a deeper dive into the digital forensics world and understand it better. So for the new attendees who have not attended the last session and who don't know about Yugal sir is also known as Cyber UV, and he has a lot of gems in his profile like CCNA, CSAP, DSE, and a lot more. He is a cyber forensics researcher and analyst. He has worked as a cyber crime investigator with law enforcement agencies working on email fraud, financial frauds, then identity theft, and even CCTV forensics and mobile forensics. Those are just a few terms that he has worked in. Those are just handful names, but he has worked in a lot more. He has also had the role of corporate trainers and has mentored a lot of students till now. And we are again expecting, just like the last session, to have a great breakfast session with you, sir. Without further ado, I would just hand over the session and we'll take a deeper dive with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Faizan, for introducing me. So yes, now today we are going to talk more about digital forensics. So I don't know how many of these people were in the last session, but those who are not, they may just go to the YouTube and check it out. The last session, it was against the basics of digital forensics, and where we just talked about how digital forensics was is started, how digital forensic works, and we were basically talking more of about what are the different procedures in the digital forensics and different techniques. So, okay, I can see in the chat, Arun said I'm present. Okay, very good. Now, just before recapping up, I'll just ask you one simple question about digital forensics. That how many of you understood basically what digital forensics is and what digital forensics basically comprises of. I hope you are able to get the basics of digital forensics. So how many of you are able to get it? Please comment down here. I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, fine. I got to say many things. Last session explained very well. Yes, it was clear, able to grasp Olympic potential proof analyzing it. Very good. I got to see many people reply here. Okay, so now let's go on and let's now understand what are basically how digital forensics happens practically. Okay, because whenever you are studying the theory, I already told you theory is not much. Although I'll be showing you short practical today, but yeah, that will just explain you how digital forensics is working and how we are using the tools. And I'll just give you an overview of how digital forensic tool works and what we are doing basically with them. Okay, so let's begin it out. Just please permit me to share my screen. Host, please permit me to share my screen. Let me share my screen. So basically, before I continue it, just let's have a talk. So today we will be basically studying about what are different procedures, okay, at digital forensic laboratory, how we are using different tools. Some tools I'll tell you what they are doing, how they are working, what are the different modules in the tools, okay, and how the tools are helping us. Then what are the different type of forensics? I'll give you just a basic overview how we are doing the internet history analysis, email analysis, Windows registry analysis, okay, how we are doing the network forensics, we are doing the memory forensics. So from that you'll get just an overview of how different digital forensic procedures are working and how we can use them to do our investigations. Just permit me 1 minute to share my screen. Fazan, do I have the access? It's not allowing me to share the screen. Hello, Fazan? Are you there? Fazan? So guys, just till I share my screen, let's talk normally. Yeah, so starting in digital forensics, last time I told you basically we just know that in digital forensics lab we are acquiring the evidence. Okay, once we have acquired the evidence, after acquiring the evidence, what we are doing, we are just going for the uh, analysis. For the analysis part, we just require some tools. Now, the basic process is, even I told you for imaging also we have to make a logical image, a physical image. For imaging also we have some softwares there and some hardware tools are as well available. So we have different kind of hardware and software tools which allow us for the imaging of digital evidence. Once we are doing the imaging of digital evidence, that allow us to analyze the image, and we are not tampering with the original evidence, right? This was what we learned in the last lesson. Now, let me tell you that whenever we are analyzing a system, it is very, very essential for us to know what the system architecture is comprising of for the analysis. So basically, we should have a good knowledge of system network, the system architecture, and how the system is being functioning. Okay. Secondly, we should have a good knowledge of what operating system is being working in the system, because whenever we are dealing with some systems which are not having our familiar operating system, like which are not having Windows, which are having some kind of other operating system, say it Linux, okay, say it is having Mac OS, say it is having some kind of other operating open source operating system, I say. So when it is having some kind of other operating system, in that case, we'll have a little bit of hardship if we don't know how the Mac OS system functions, because the Mac OS system function and its file system is completely different from what is in the Windows. The Mac does not have Windows file system; it has Apple file system, okay, or it has HFS plus. Now, when we are dealing with Windows, we are having NTFS file system. When we are dealing with Linux, we are having FAT, expat, we are having different kind of file systems. So the basic understanding of what file systems we are using, the basic understanding of what operating system we are using, and the basic understanding of the how the operating system is functioning, what directories are available into it through which we can uh, analyze the evidence, we can get collect the evidence, and we can process this out. That is very, very required. Now, just yeah, I finally got to share my screen. Is the screen coming up? Just check. Yeah, it's finally up, I guess. Yeah, so coming up now, firstly, we are going to study what are the different procedures at forensic laboratory. We studied what are the procedures at the crime scene. Okay, in the crime scene, we are just taking up the evidence, we are collecting it, sealing it, packaging it. Okay, after sealing and packaging, we are taking it to the laboratory, and in laboratory now, the further procedures go on where we are analyzing the evidence. Now, what are the different procedures at computer forensic laboratory? Let's see. Various procedures which are performed in the lab is we are creating an exact replica of hard disk. If we have seized the evidence and we have brought the original evidence to the laboratory, in that case, we'll be making a replica or the image of the hard disk firstly. If we have already brought the image from the crime scene, then it is perfectly fine. If we have not brought the image, we have brought the original evidence, then we are first going to image it out. For that, we are using different forensic images in the laboratory. We have different workstations which have the integrated forensic images into them, like we have many workstations. I'll not name anyone, but yeah, we have a lot of workstation brands with images integrated into them, like Tableau, like forensic card readers, like we have TX1, we have different card images, we have Solo Imager, okay, we have the Atola, we have different kind of tools available, which are basically doing the imaging purpose. Then FTK images, some software solutions are also available there, which are required for imaging. So once we have made the image of the evidence, now the second thing is we have to identify whether the computer evidence which we are analyzing does have anything in the slack space, or which has some deleted data. So for that, we are using some tools which are performing data carving. Now, what is data carving? Carving basically means we are recovering the deleted data. One is the data parsing and one is data carving. Parsing basically means the evidence is present there and we are just finding it out. And in case of carving, we are finding out the deleted data, we are structuring the deleted data and bringing it up, and then we are analyzing it. So we are performing the parsing procedure, indexing, carving, and different kind of procedures on the evidence so that we are able to get the things. Okay. Then we are documenting the findings and providing expert witness testimony to clarify technical computer issues during the process. Then Now, finding data such as deleted emails and intentionally altered data, we are doing with the help of file signatures with magic numbers, or formatted hard drives, and documenting and analyzing the data, recording information in reports. We are creating the reports from the softwares we are using. We are also noting what software versions we are using, what software we are using, why we are using it. Okay, all the procedures into the lab must be according to the standards. Okay, which includes security, confidentiality, and data destruction standards. So we have different data destruction standards. Also, we have DoD, we have NIST, we have different standards for data destruction. Also, we have different standards for the digital forensics. Also, like we have SWEDGE is there, we have NIST, and we have different guidelines available all over the world. We have certain guidelines in India. The CERT is the nodal body in India which issues the guidelines for India. Similarly, in US we have different agency, we have UK we have different agency, in Europe we have different agency, NSA is there. So we have different agencies which are issuing the guidelines. Now, what type of investigations are done in a computer forensic lab? Let's have a look on it. See, child pornography, sexual exploitation material, we are investigating that. We are investigating the instant messaging chats like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like Instagram chats, use of emails. We have sent emails to someone. Then we are investigating computer hacking and network intrusion things. We are taking the logs of the routers, of the firewalls, of the SIEM systems, SOC systems, and then we are analyzing them to the laboratory. Copyright infringement things like if someone has published someone's copyrighted material digitally, we are checking that. If someone has done software piracy, we are checking that. Intellectual property disputes, we are checking that into the laboratory. Auction frauds are there, credit card frauds are there, financial frauds, we are investigating there, telecommunication frauds, then threats, harassment, stalking, extortion and blackmail things, then online gambling things, drug abuse things, then employee misconduct, we are doing it in private, theft, robbery, burglary, murder, accidents, everything. So all the crimes, there is a wide area of crime. The common crimes we are actually knowing it, but these crimes are also included, which come into the forensic investigation principles. Like, for example, if you have financial frauds, also in that case, also we are doing the forensic investigation of the case, and we are finding out how it was done. So forensic investigations are must in most of the cases nowadays. Now, now let's have a look on the tools. Now I told you about forensic toolkit FTK. It's the first tool. FTK is a complete forensic solution. I would say the reason for this is because firstly I'm not promoting any tool. I'm just taking some open source tools, because FTK is an open source tool, Autopsy is an open source tool. I'll be just talking about open source tools here, okay, which you all can use, which are not paid tools. So FTK has a free tool called FTK Imager, and FTK is a complete comprehensive tool which comes with a lot of solutions. Like it has registry viewer, it has memory dumping facilities, it can image the hard drives, you can open the hard drives into it, analyze into it. Okay, you can check out the hash verification into it. Plus, you can also mount the images into it and check into inside what images are having inside. Then you can create the image, change the image formats in the FTK. So FTK is a very handy tool, and FTK also comes in the paid version where it is doing the data carving and everything. Now, basically, FTK is giving you a distributed processing, performance boosting, and the best thing of FTK is it is 400% more faster than other tools. Okay, I would say. And the FTK is mostly preferred for imaging because it's one of the fastest software imager available. If you're not buying any hardware imager like Tableau or something, you can always use FTK for software-based imaging with your hard drive. So you just take a hard drive, use it into an FTK imager, and you can easily make the image of it and later analyze it out in Autopsy or some kind of tool you want. Okay. Another unique feature of FTK is it has a shared database, and it can do indexing very easily. It has it's in the paid version. You can do indexing also, and you can do the analysis also. Now, FTK, I would say here, because it's an integrated forensic solution, it has a good processing power. It can handle large data sets. You can create very big images into it very easily. Then it is fast, comprehensive, and it has file disk encryption support. Like if a file is encrypted, it will be detecting it out. Although it will not be breaking it out in the free version, but yeah, it will be detecting it out. Okay, and it has the option to also encrypt your it's providing AD encryption, access data encryption for your images, in which you can encrypt your images so no one opens it out. Okay, then it has gallery view options. You can view the gallery options. It also shows the hex of the files you are analyzing into it. Then it has a good email analysis tool. Then it is doing the volatile in memory analysis. You can capture the memory into it. Okay, it is also doing the registry capturing feature. Then it has PRTK is there, password recovery toolkit is there, FTK, and it also has DNA, which is helping you give the attacks. Okay, you can do the network attack, the password attacks through it. Okay, and it is also giving you the feature for internet artifact analysis. Now, coming about tools in FTK, what different tools are available in the FTK. So first tool we have is email analysis. Email analysis facilities available into the FTK. If there are any emails, it will list you out. You can analyze them. You can check them out very easily. Then it is doing the file decryption thing. A file decryption tool is available inside it. Then next is the data carving. It can carve the deleted data. Then next is the data visualization feature. You can visualize the data into different kind of features like tree form, like into the tabular form in different kind of views. Then it is a web viewer. You can view the web view of data. Then the paid version also comes Cerberus. Cerberus has basically a feature called malware detection. Okay, which can detect the malware. And the last one is OCR. You can also do the OCR into the FTK. Now this is the UI of FTK Imager. Okay, the picture is old. It's the old version. Now the latest version is came. So here we can see we can add. We have an evidence tree. We have custom content sources where we can add the content. Then we have the file name, file size, file type. So this is, I would say, the most basic tool you can start with if you want to start in forensics. This is the button for doing the memory acquisition. Okay, here you can change what you want to view. You want to view the mixed view. You want to view the data into text, into hex, or here you can see the encrypted things. You can decrypt them out. Okay, and here you can see the databases. So we have different features here available in the FTK Imager. It will be the basic tool you want to start with into the digital forensics. So if you want to do any kind of forensic investigation, digital forensics, and just work on basic images which you can download from some resources with which I'll be providing you. Okay, I'll be providing you with some links where you can download different kind of images you want, and you can analyze them out for your personal learning. Okay, which are available freely. Like NIST has the different images. Then you have CDREFS has their free images available. Then we have DFI Diva. There's a website where you'll get lots of forensic resources and lots of free forensic tools. Okay, so similarly, many forums are there where you can get free images and you can analyze them out. You can check them out into FTK Imager free of cost. Now, next comes Autopsy. Autopsy is a very famous tool that most of people must have listened of because Autopsy is very famous because of its investigation capabilities, and it is open source. It's basically the graphical version of the Sleuth Kit, and Sleuth Kit is a complete open source forensic solution, which is actually working like paid forensic tools, and it has a lot of in it to learn. Okay. Now, Autopsy is an open source tool. As I already told, it is developed by Basic Technology. Okay, and it was firstly released in 2000. And Autopsy basically is a graphical version of SleuthKit. You can also use SleuthKit if you are using Linux. Okay, in that case, the SleuthKit comes and you can use it to analyze images. You can again do the imaging in it. You can again do the analysis into it. You can create the reports inside it. You can do everything inside it. Okay, you can also use to recover photos from the camera memory card. You can use to recover your data. Okay, it is a free to use and very efficient tool for hard drive investigation. It is not for mobile phone investigation. It is just for hard drive, pen drives, okay, or memory cards to do the investigation in that case. And it is very good tool for timeline analysis, registry analysis, keyword search, email analysis, media playbacks, EXIF data, metadata analysis, then malicious file detection, and many things. You can also integrate many kind of add-ons into it. It has given you the option of integrating third-party add-ons into it. Many tools are there. It has given you the option of custom scripting where you can create a custom scripts and use it into the Autopsy. So basically, Autopsy is a very good tool. Now, the best core features I will tell here, it is extensible. So you are able to add your own functionalities by creating plugins, and you can use into your tools. Then next, it is centralized. Okay, it is giving you the feature of accessing all the features together, and it's a very easy UI. Then it is very easy to use in Autopsy browser. Is very easy. You can easily learn the UI of it, and it is allowing you to be used by multiple users. Okay, including a team also, the Autopsy one. Now, talking about different file systems, Autopsy is analyzing different file systems. Like we have different file systems called NTFS, FAT, XFAT, HFS plus, EXT2, EXT3, EXT4, YAFFS2. I'll go into the file systems later. Maybe some another session I'll be going for the file systems when we are covering Windows forensics. We can learn about different file systems, different what are the processes in the Windows and how we are analyzing it. Okay, similarly we can go for different file systems. So if you want to learn about the file system, these are different file systems I mentioned here. You can learn about them. So now it is allowing us to access these all file systems by hashing the files. Then it is unpacking the archives like zip, zar, and different archives. And it is also analyzing some standard email formats like EML. Okay. And then it is helping you ask for the indexing of data. Now, what is indexing of data? Let me give you a little overlook of it. See what happens whenever you are into digital forensics and whenever you are getting an image, you are loading an image into a digital forensic tool. It does not itself make the image very understandable, because whenever you are having a digital forensic image, it is a compact form of all the data of a hard drive. Now, when there is a lot of data in the hard drive, there are thousands of directories, thousands of files, thousands of listings inside there, different type of file formats are there. So what indexing does for us, indexing basically when we need to learn by how many terms I say, what does a index do for the book? Index basically tells us what data is present into which page number of the book. Similarly, in case of forensics, indexing does this for us. It basically tells us that where the data is being stored and which file is stored at which location, how many files are present inside the file. So we are basically categorizing different kind of media inside the file. We are basically partitioning the complete image into different parts. Like videos files come separately, audio files will be separated, image files will be separated, then the documents will be separated, and it will also be arranging it. Some advanced tools which have good indexing features, they will also be indexing the tools with the help of their date of time, creation of time, then also with the file type like .pdf, .jpg, .png. They'll be making different categories. So in that case, what will happens, if you're doing the indexing, it will be easier for us to find the data. For example, we have to find only PDFs from the images. We have to not browse the entire image by opening each and every directory. We are basically going to the section where only PDFs of the images are carved, and we'll be just checking out what PDF we want. Then we have additional filters available there, from which filters we can select what date and time we actually want, what is the time lapse in which the PDF was created. Then we can also select what author created it, what was the storage location it was in, okay, and what was the last modified access created time of the thing. So basically, it is giving you different features. Now here you can index the files, and you can also create a report, one in HTML format or also in PDF format. Okay, for summarizing what was the recent activity, you can bookmark it out. If the time is short, they can activate triage features into it. Okay, there is another very good tool which comes for the triage, which is OS Forensics. Okay, where you can easily triage the system, and after triaging, you can work on it. Although it is not free, but yeah, you can get the trial of it and you can check it out. It's very good for the computer triage feature. Triage basically means we are not doing indexing and everything manually. We are just using the triage tool for triaging the system, and the tool will itself do all the analysis and present us with all the artifacts. Now in computer world, we are calling the evidence resources, the evidence items which we are getting from the images, we are calling as artifacts. Okay, now Autopsy can save a partial image of these in VHD format. Now if there are virtual hard disks, we can also analyze that into Autopsy tool. Okay, and it is basically written in Perl, and it is running on Linux, Unix, Mac OS, Windows, all the operating systems. Okay, and Sleuthkit is the Linux version of it, which you can use into the Linux operating systems, or also you can use the Windows in the command line, right? Then Autopsy 3.0 is basically in Java. Autopsy 4.0, now many versions of Autopsy are available there. Okay, Now coming on to different modules of autopsy, if I go into the depth. Firstly, we can do the timeline analysis. Now, what is the use of timeline analysis? If we see, timeline basically tells us what event occurred at what time. So whenever you're having a forensic hard disk, for example, evidence, now the computer was first started in 2012 and it was finished in 2018. Now we know that at some point of time, this person was doing some kind of illegal activity, and we know that it was around 2015 to 2016. Now, instead of browsing the complete image, we are doing the timeline analysis. So we'll get to see in the timeline what was the user browsing activity or what was the user's activity which was stored in the device or the drive during 2015 to 16. We can view the do the timeline view of that period, and that timeline view of the period will tell us what different activities were done with the computer in that time, what files were created, what files were deleted, and everything. So the timeline analysis basically does reduce our time. Okay. The next is hash filtering. Now, what is hash filtering? Hash filtering basically means it will help us flag the bad files and ignore the good files. Like for example, if we are doing the hash filtering in autopsy, it gives us option that if there are any files which are unreadable, which are not of our use, if are not of proper purpose, so in that case we can basically filter them out. The next is the keyword search. Now, what is the keyword search? Keyword search is a very important role in digital forensic. If you want to find any kind of specific media into a hard disk, for example, we want to find any kind of pornographic content, or we want to find any kind of narcotic content, or for example, if there is any mobile phone, although there are different tools for mobile phone investigation. So if there is any mobile phone in which some person with the name Ram is there, okay, and we want to find all the information stored in the mobile phone regarding Ram. So the keyword search can help us a lot. And if we know the specific some buzzwords or keywords of a case, which can help us find out what different features, what different activities were done related to that keyword. For example, someone's browsing history is there, and he used to search about how to basically break the network and browse using a proxy, or he was searching out how to murder someone, okay, using cyanide or something. So what we do, we put some keywords there in the keyword search panel, and as we search it out, it will mention the relevant results which have somewhere these kind of keywords available into them, or the chats or the files or something which are related to this keyword. So then we can analyze those files, those artifacts very easily and get what is the real purpose of it. Okay. Now, next comes the web artifacts. Now, web artifacts basically means extracting the history, the bookmarks, the cookies from the Firefox, from everything. Now, artifacts are a very big use because sometimes what happens, mostly if you see in the corporate world, in the corporate environment, so mostly people who are doing some kind of crimes or something, they actually are not so computer aware and they are not so IT specific. And what they are doing, they are searching in the internet how to do some criminal activity or something. Or sometimes if you see any illiterate people are there, they're mostly browsing the YouTube, how to do this, how to do that. And basically when they commit some crime, their internet history analysis or their web artifact analysis can reveal us that this person has basically searched for this thing. For example, if someone wants to go to some place and do some crime, he would basically be searching out where this place is located, where this place, how to reach this place, or what is the way to reach this place. So in that case, his Google Maps timeline or his searches regarding in the Google Maps, his searches in the Google regarding the place, how to enter the place, what are the precautions while going to that place, or if someone searches out how to delete the data from some drive, how to format a drive. So that can reveal us that this person was trying to do something illegal, which was not pertaining. And if we connect it to the case, we'll be actually be able to get that yes, this was only the person who tried to find out how to format the data for hard drive, and he is only the potential criminal. Now, next is data carving. As I told you already, data carving is basically recovering deleted files from unallocated space. Okay, we are also using PhotoRec tool here for carving the photos. In Autopsy, we can use PhotoRec, and Photo is also a free tool for carving different photos. I'll give you a list of free digital forensic tools which are available. Now, coming next, in case of multimedia, we can extract the EXIF or the metadata from the pictures. Now, what is metadata? Talking about metadata, metadata is we call it data hidden in data. Okay. Now, what is data hidden in data? Data hidden in data basically means whenever you are browsing some file, you right click the file, you get some information about the file, that this is the file name, this is the file type, this is the file creation time, modification time, accessing time, this place the file was stored, how many times the file was opened, what are the different file versions available. That all is actually called the metadata of the file. And the metadata of file speaks a lot than the actual file, because metadata cannot be altered intentionally. The metadata of file can never be altered intentionally. The file may be altered, but the metadata will always tell us there was some modification or there was some kind of access which was given to the file and it was being changed out. The last comes indicators of compromise. Okay, we have an extension called STIS through which we can also find the indicators of compromise in of the system in autopsy. Okay, now what are the different evidence search techniques in digital forensics? Okay, now let me have a look. Now, first is file listings. We are analyzing the file directories, including the name of deleted files, or we are using some kind of wildcard characters. We are using regex, regular expressions, or we are using some kind of wildcard searches. From that, we are actually finding out what are the different deleted files and what are the file located inside the files and directories. Now, second thing, we can search the files into a digital media is by file content. Okay, we can view the content of the files into the raw, into the hex, into the ASCII strings, and then we can interpret that what was the content of the file. We can recreate the file by changing the file signatures if they were altered intentionally, and we can see what was the actual file. Okay, so Autopsy is giving us a procedure there to sanitize also the local system in case if it was being damaged. Okay, now next is hash databases. Now lookup into the files can also be done by hash database. We have a hash database available, and we compare it to what the image we have. Okay, so there we can get to out what are the good files or what are the bad files by the image reputation, similar to like VirusTotal does. If you load some file into the VirusTotal, if you load the hash, it has databases which with which it can tell you that the file is a good file or a bad file. So similarly, the hash database can also let us analyze about the files. Now next is file type sorting. Now we can also do the file sorting by based on the internal signatures. Like for example, there are some system files, or there are some graphical images, or there are some user created files, or there are some some DLLs. There are some kind of bad files. So in that case, we can also do the file type sorting regarding that. The next is the timeline activity. Now I already told you what is the timeline through the modified access and created time of the MAC details. We can actually make a timeline of how the evidences were created into a digital media, or how they were deleted, or how they were altered, and we can do the timeline analysis. The next is the metadata analysis. I already told you as the metadata means the data hidden inside the data. We are analyzing that also to detect what different kind of files are there. And the last one is the data unit analysis. Now, in data unit analysis, we can check where the file content is stored. For example, in which logical block address of the where it is stored, and on the which sectors, which partitions it is being located. Okay, how it was being located. So there are different freeware tools also available where you can do the sector level, or you can do the logical block addressing level analysis of the digital media. And last is the image files. Now file system details can be viewed like by mounting it into a system if it is an image, and there you can also do a data recovery. There you can view it as a proper file system, as a proper you can say a drive. Okay, when you are mounting it out, so through image also you can view it out. Now coming next, now talking about Autopsy only, we also have a case management software into Autopsy where we can see different kind of features. Like we have the event sequencer, okay, which can give us time-based events which are added from file activity, from IDS or firewall logs, or from the network logs. Then we can save different kind of notes inside it as per our investigation. how we are investigating the case and everything. Then talking about the image integrity, we can also check there by the hash verification, is the image same or not. Okay, and we can also check out what are the different kind of um hashes they were taken, were the hashes matching or not. And we can also do the immediate hash analysis at the point of time when the image is being loaded, during the case analysis, after the case analysis. Then next we can do the reporting, we can create the reports on it. And the last is we can also have an audit logs of what we are doing on the case, what kind of actions were the perform on the case, and when the person performed the action, which feature did he use, which again gives us an overview of what all actions we have taken into a case. Now, coming next, we have an internet usage analysis. Okay, what we are doing into. Now in internet or browser history analysis, we are basically checking internet access details of the system through its browser logs. Okay, and secondly, through the network logs, like not the ISP, but the router logs, through the firewall logs of the organization. Okay, through the SIEM logs. And also we are getting the internet access log from the ISP. For that we are also analyzing it. Then we are using what websites were browsed, what date time they were browsed, how what duration they were browsed. And then we can also collect the data from the cookies, what kind of websites were crowded, what kind of information the user provided to the cookies, what kind of data the cookies were collecting, if there are any fraudulent websites or something, and what were the proxy websites that were used to hide the details of the website visited. Okay, now see here. Here you can see different kind of internet artifacts we get here. I've got a screenshot for you. Just check it out. See, here we have the complete kind of our internet history analysis. Here we have what we have browsed, like client master form, crystal reports, final report, NCase registration, NCase GIF, and different kinds of things. Now moving forward, see here you can see the temporary internet files, what temporary internet files were accessed. So here we also have the information of the favicons, the Google favicons, which we see on the top, what we have accessed. We have the information of cookies, what cookies we have accessed. Now moving forward, now the next comes email analysis. Okay, now what we do in the email analysis. Now in email analysis, mostly when we get an email, the first thing comes into mind is the email header, because most of people must have listened that email header speaks a lot. Email header actually lets you analyze where the email came from, who sent the email, is it authentic or not, is it a phishing mail or not. Now, what different things we can get from the analysis of evidence. Okay, now identifying the source, the system domain, the IP address from where the email came. Then we can get the recipient sender of a message, like it is spoofed or not. Some mails are sent via the some kind of marketing services, like we are sending it through MailChimp, we are sending it through Bluehost, or we are sending it to some kind of social media uh, services, or we are also using it for email marketing. We have marketing campaigns running on. So in that case, we can see that, for example, there is a email address written uh, xyz@xyz.com, send via send in blue. So in that case, we can easily understand that it was sent via some marketing campaign to send in blue application. Okay. And then next we have the date and time of sending the email, which is available into the original email header. Whenever you go to the email, there is an option for clicking there. You can click there, find what is the original. And when you see the original mail, you have a lot of information available there. We have the MX records. Okay. We have the email message or content. Then we have the email headers available. We have server access logs. Okay, then internet access logs from the ISP can be used for the email analysis. Then next is the recovery of deleted emails. We can do it through some tools applications available. And the last one is we can also locate the source of email and its sender by, if it is for example a Gmail, then we have to approach the Gmail for that. If it is some kind of other third party application, in that case we can do it out. Then next we do in the forensics is the Windows registry analysis. In the Windows forensics, it's a very important part. Now in the Windows analysis, registry is the most important part I would consider, because it provides a wealth of information. It is a very big you can say source house of information, and it is just divided into 5 hives. Okay, it has different kind of hives. We call it hives, which are called sections of it. So different hives are see, basically it has one class is root, then we have current user, okay, then we have local machine, then we have users, and then we have current config. Okay, so let me tell you, see, the classes root contains the file names, okay, or the what are the root files of the operating system. Then the current user means what is the current user desktop being accessed. Then next, local machine means the memory, last boot, all the information of the machine is stored in the local machine one. Then the user one, all the user account profiles, user details, whatever user has done to the system, all the users, their information is into the users. Then the current config means what is the current configuration of the machine, what is the running image, whatever things are currently running, that is into the current config. Now each hive has their sub keys. It has sub keys, and the sub keys also have different kind of more sub keys which contains some value entry. Now the value entry has a name and a specific value. It is having a specific value in the hex, and that hex specific value basically it tells us what kind of changes have done the system. For example, if someone has connected some USB to the system, it can be easily being diagnosed with the registry address of the system, how many USBs were connected. If someone has logged into the system and logged out from the system, that can be also analyzed. And if you have to capture the registry of the system, we have a very good freeware tool available, which is the registry viewer, okay, in the FTK, and you can capture the registry from basically FTK imager, and you can analyze it into the registry viewer application, which is also available freeware. Okay, so here you can do the Windows registry analysis through FTK imager and then through registry viewer. Now coming next, now what different information we can get from the Windows registry analysis. Okay, let's have a look. First is the system configuration. What is the configuration of the system? Whose registry we are analyzing it? It is stored into the system key. Then we have second the devices connected to the system, USBs, as I already told you. What are the plug and play devices which are connected to the system? What are the different user IDs and passwords created inside it? Then what are the different programs, emails, and websites we have browsed? What are the personal settings and browser preferences inside it? What are the websites we have visited? What is the date, time, different queries we have raised in the system, different search history, the file browsing history inside the system. Then recently accessed files, what are the files we have recently accessed in the system, and what programs were executed, deleted, or uninstalled from the system. So if you basically install a program for forensically deleting also something from the system, it again will be at the last being recorded to the registry. So the registry on this analysis of the system will definitely tell you that some program was being installed in the program in the system for deleting all the forensic evidences. So registry analysis this way helps us a lot in case of forensic investigation. Now coming next to the very known branch of forensics, which is again now network forensics. Okay, network forensics is also practiced very regularly, and because most of the times we are having DDoS attacks, DOS attacks, we are having MITM attacks, we are having different kind of security attacks into our networks, and the organizations are usually always requiring to do network forensics. So in case of network forensics, we are basically capturing the traffic, then we are doing the analysis of the network traffic, and through the network traffic analysis, through the system policies analysis, what are the different policies of the firewalls, what are the different policies of the IDS, IPS, through this analysis, we can basically tell what kind of different activities are performed with the network, which hosts were connected, which host did which kind of activity, and if the system is AD or the Active Directory control, then we can also have much more information about the devices. Some systems are also having the endpoint control of the system. Like for example, we have endpoint monitoring, endpoint management systems installed. So in that case, what a specific user was doing his activity also, the organization can track it out. So it all comes under the network forensics. Now, what are the different things for which we are doing the network forensics? Okay, we have different things like some sniffers are there. Okay, HTTP traffic is there, login ID and password recovery we can do from it. Then we are capturing the incoming outgoing mails. If there are some kind of files incoming and outgoing in the network, we can capture them. Okay, we are scrutinizing the network traffic logs to identify the access into some system. If there is some kind of any you can say server is there or some closed environment is there, some person's trying to access it, we can get the router logs, we can get the SIEM logs. Nowadays we have SIEM. Okay, SIEM systems are there, like we have Curada, we have Splunk, we have different SIEM systems. In that case, if we are analyzing that the logs of those systems, we are able to get which person was trying to do attack, which person was trying to do network reconnaissance. Okay, and once we get to know who's doing the network reconnaissance, then we are basically analyzing the systems whose IPs were available there in the network traffic on which the reconnaissance was performed. We are doing the forensic investigation of those systems. And on doing the forensic investigation of those systems, we are actually checking if some data was breached there, if the system was compromised, if something was happened, how far away the vector was able to reach into the system, how far away the network was scanned, what all resources were scanned, what information did he get from us. And we can also predict some kind of future attacks which will happen. Okay, now, network forensics is done in two things. So the first is once the event has occurred, okay, in case of event has occurred, we are getting the previous log and when we are doing the analysis. Second is the real-time analysis. So we have different tools also which are doing the real-time analysis of the network traffic. Like we have Wireshark, okay, so which we can capture the network. We have Network Miner, okay, we have Nmap, we have Zenmap, we have different kind of systems which are doing the network forensics. Now there we can analyze different kind of network logs and we can find out through the protocols who are trying to access it out. Was it authorized access or not? What time the access was done? Who was doing the access? What IP was he was using? What is the device MAC? What is the location from which the access was being done? So all the things can be found out from it. Now, see, now network forensic analysis tools, what they are doing? Okay, they are capturing the traffic, they are analyzing the network traffic. Okay, they are allowing us to discover useful, interesting things about analyzed traffic. Okay, now what are the policies being used in the system? What are the being rules we are making into the firewalls? What are the different policies and systems we have made? What is the traffic which we want to analyze? We can capture the specific traffic. Was the traffic internal, external, or we can collect the packets? TCP dump is the most common command, or the TCP dump is the most common tool which we can use to dump the network traffic and we can analyze it. Okay, then we are sessionizing the captured traffic. We are organizing it. Okay, once we are organizing the traffic and then we are basically finding it out how it was there. Then we are doing the protocol passing and this is through different protocols. What different protocol was used? Was the UDP being trying to being accessed? Was the FTP being trying to access? Was it TCP based access or not? What was it secured? Was it unsecured? Which resource was accessed? How it was accessed? Okay, what are the different vulnerabilities into the systems? Okay, what kind of attack was done, like ARP spoofing or ARP poisoning or something, whatever was there. Okay, then we are checking for the strings. For the expert analysis, we are also using the Yara rules, we are using the Sigma rules, we are using the malware analysis systems to analyze the malware if any malware flows into the network traffic. So we are doing it all. Okay. Now, network forensic analysis tool versus IDS and firewall. Let's say IDS is basically, there's a very big confusion regarding it. I would like to clear it out. IDS basically attempts to detect the activity that will be violating the organization security policy by implementing a set of rules. Okay, now firewall is allowing or disallowing the traffic from a specific network and it is basically controlling the traffic movement. Okay, now in fact, network forensic analysis tool, it is basically combining it with IDS and firewalls, and it is preserving long-term traffic of the network. Like for example, same tools are there. Now it is also allowing us for the quick analysis for trouble spots identified by IDS and firewall. Like if IDS is generating any kind of alert, we're immediately deploying some network forensic analysis tool, which will be basically capturing the traffic and analyzing the traffic. And once we have analyzed the traffic, then based on that, we are able to amend the policies of the network, what we have to allow and what we have to block. Like if there is a specific group of IPs which are performing reconnaissance of our system, so we can specifically block the zone of the IP from where it is coming in, or we can completely block the region from where the IP is coming in. So we can completely block the traffic region, or we can specifically block a group of IPs or a specific IP, or we can block a class of IP specifically. So that is all being done through the network forensic analysis tool, through which we are analyzing the traffic and checking around what the behavior of the traffic coming in is actually. Now, once the NIDS systems are also there, NIDS systems are able to detect the malicious activity by monitoring network traffic continuously. Like for example, they are monitoring the DOS attack, port scans, attempt to crack into the computer. So these all are done by the NIDS, network IDS, network-based IDS system. Okay, and they are reassembling the packets from the hub switch. They are looking at the headers of the packet. They are doing the content level analysis of the packets, and they are trying to determine what is happening into the system or the network from the content analysis. Or they are also able to detect the user identities, what user was trying to do, was he admin or not, was he super admin, what access he's trying to take into it, which servers he's trying to access into it. So NIDS are also basically systems which are being used for network analysis and detection. Now next is the honeypots. Honeypots are also some systems which are used. Honeypots basically lure the attackers. Okay, and it is gaining the information about some kind of intrusion. So we are also creating some kind of fake honeypots there, through which we can reconstruct the basically attack behaviors. For example, if there is some kind of attack performed on a system and we know that the hacker is actually trying to infiltrate this kind of data, we can create fake honeypots on which the hacker will be trying to attack, and will be simulating it as real system. When the attacker attacks it there, we are actually able to detect that what kind of attack he's trying to perform, what policy he's using, what kind of techniques he's using, and we are basically creating a complete environment where we can do the intrusion detection very easily by using honeypots. Okay, now honeypots is basically used to make the attacker very charming, very inviting to attack on us. We are actually trying to give him the data he requires, but actually it is not a real system. It is a fake system, a virtual system created by us. Okay, we are trying to make it look weaker and very easy to crack, and the attacker will be thinking maybe he has cracked the system. Okay, we are instrumenting every piece of information on the back end, what the attacker is being doing, like whatever kind, what is his usage pattern, what is his attack pattern, what is a specific time the reconnaissance is peaking up, the network traffic peaks up, what is a specific point of time the network traffic is going down, what are the specific IPs he's using, specific group of IPs, what is the specific different kind of protocols he's trying to access. These all are there. Okay, now some honeypots examples I'll be telling you. TCP wrapper is there, it is there. Then we have restricted logging shells, like through Windows we have the admin shell, through which we can create the honeypots and we can do whatever. Okay, now next comes to the memory analysis. Okay, now what are the different processes and how we are doing the memory forensics. Now memory forensics, another branch which is a very important branch, because whenever some kind of live attack comes to the system, or we are doing the volatile memory analysis, the memory forensics becomes very important. So we are doing the memory forensics. So what memory forensics tells us basically, it is telling us yeah. So coming back, what are the different processes? Now, see, whenever we are running some programs in the system, some kind of a process will be created into the memory, because whenever you are using some programs, it is using some kind of system processes also. It is creating its own processes also. Many DLLs are executed, many pad files are executed, many configuration files are executed. We have different kind of libraries which are being executed. In that case, different processes are created. Now, each process has a specific process identification number, or PID. Okay. Now, different processes in the system are being created, suspended, terminated one by the operating system. And we are calling these processes the daemons in the Linux. So different daemons are being created and they are being uh, terminated time to time. Okay. Now, terminated processes can also be very useful for the forensic investigations when we are taking the memory dump, like we are using it volatility. We are also using the we are using basically FTK imager for taking the memory dump. We are also using Redline. It's a tool for taking the process in memory dump. Okay, we can also take the page file dump of the system. Okay, and through all this, we can analyze what different processes were going on into the system and what was going live into the memory of the system. Now, coming next. Now, what is a process? Now, system process is basically the first process you will see in the Windows. It's the most basic process, and the system process has all the process inside it. Like if you go for the process analysis of the system, this process will start when the PC boots, and this will have single instance. Okay, it does not have any parent, and usually this will be having the process ID as 4. Okay, now this is the process which is running all the dots, all the DL executable, and it's the most important process of the system, the system process. Okay, it is running from ntoskml.exe. Okay, which is the directory inside system 32, and this process is starting at your boot time, which is the most fundamental process of the Windows. Now, whenever you're doing the memory analysis, there are a lot of processes you should check about, but this is the fundamental process. We should check that it is only one instance of this process being running, and there are not multiple instances. Okay, although it must have nesting based multiple child, but only a single instance should be running. Now, more detail on the forensic processes will be taken somewhere when we are having a memory forensic session. Okay, but taking about now, next I told about page file. Now, what is a page file of the system? Now, whenever you are doing the operating system or the forensic analysis of the Windows, in that case, page file is very important because Microsoft is using a paging file, which is basically storing all the chunks of data, okay, which are going into the physical memory. So whenever some kind of data is there, which is a larger data which cannot directly fit into the RAM, we store it into the page file. And page file is actually some part of our hard disk which is being used as a virtual memory. Okay. Now, although reading and writing data from the page file is slower than the actual RAM, but the paging file can store data that are less frequently used. And when the RAM requires it, it can be accessed more easily by the RAM from it. Okay. Now, page file.sys is basically holding all the virtual memory we have inside a system, and it is having almost all the data what the RAM processes inside the system. So whenever Windows runs out of physical RAM, it is using the page file for using some contents of the RAM and using it into the disk. So basically you can say that page file is actually a replica copy of what the original RAM is. Okay. So whenever we are doing the page file analysis of the system, the page file is basically stored in the system 32 and you cannot access it out directly. Through FTK imager, basically you can take a dump of the page file. And when you are analyzing the page file, you can basically check what was done in the system earlier when the different process execution was going on. Now, an anti-forensic process is there, which is called deleting page file. Now, when you're deleting the page file, you're basically clearing out everything which was done into the system, the live system details, the live system browsing and everything. So clearing the page file on every shutdown means overwriting data by zeros, and it takes time. Okay, and it will basically increase the shutdown time. Now, whenever you are doing, someone is trying to do clear the page files. So he is basically trying to delete out whatever the content was browsed on the system, whatever the live data was used in the system. Now, to delete the page file, you can use registry edit tools. Okay, and you can go to the following key: H key, local machine, system, current control set. And in the memory management file, you have the dword called 32-bit dword. Now you have to name the dword as clear file at shutdown and give it value to 1. 1 means you are giving it to a positive value to be executed. 0 means you are giving the negative value not to be executed. So whenever you're giving this value, you can easily delete the page file. Now this is a common method used by the computer criminals. They are deleting the paging file of the system. So as when you're doing the shutdown of the system, the RAM will automatically be cleared, but all the information that was stored in the page file and it can be later accessed by forensic investigators, that will also be removed out in that case. Now, whenever we are doing some kind of triage of the system, what different processes we have to keep in the mind? Identify what are the notable processes going into the system. Okay, whenever we are triaging the system, we are doing the triage of any system, uh, hard disk triage, the memory triage. The first factor we should keep in consideration if the computer is switched on is the memory, is the processes going to the system, is the network into the system, because these all are volatile evidences, and once the system is shut down, these all go away and you will not be able to retrieve them back. So whenever you are doing some kind of triage of a system, the most important part we have to look upon is the live data going on in the system, the live processes. We should always take the process capture of the system through Pokemon process monitor, or we have a process hunter, or we have different kind of applications for doing that. You can also use some different professional tools like Redline. You can use like Volatility. You can use like Magnet RAM capture, Belkasoft RAM capture. These are all the free tools which are available for doing the memory capture. Now, check the spelling of the process name. Does the process have correct parent when you're doing the analysis? Check the directory from where it is running from, and what are the multiple instances of the process which are supposed to have only one instance. Okay, so we should check all these whenever we are doing the live triage of the system, because there may be something, some malicious thing which is running on the system, and once you shut down the system and you seize the hard disk also, you will not be able to access this live information which was available into the system. Now, acquisition of memory is very, very important. Now, determine the state of the machine, it is open or closed. Now, identify the what operating system is running into it. Okay, if it is any third-party operating system, you have to check what is the kernel based on. It is Linux, it is Windows, it is Mac based. Okay, then check for the authentic device access. You have to have the authentic device access, the administrator rights. The admin privilege account is required. You cannot do it from a guest account. Okay, then insert the acquisition media with the software you are having. Okay, we do not have to install any software in the machine. Whenever you're doing the analysis of a system, or taking the dump of a system, or taking the image of a system, you do not have to run any kind of software into the system itself. You have to make a bootable pen drive with some kind of imaging system, and you have to run it live on the memory, so that no fingerprints of running any system, running any process, or running any program on the system is left whenever you're doing the forensic analysis. Perform the volatile memory dump, we can use tools like Redline, Dumpit, Volatility, FTK Major, etc. Then we are hashing and verifying the acquired files. Again, in memory forensic also, we are taking the hash as to verify whatever information was taken is right or not. And then we are creating the investigator copies of the memory dump also. Now in memory dump, we can also create the AD1 file. Okay, yes, we are taking it from Imager, which is basically an image file, which is created by FTK of the complete memory, which can be analyzed into different tools like Belkasoft, or you can say FTK Imager or FTK. Now, how we are capturing the memory from FTK Imager? Let me show you. See, here we are going to FTK Imager. We are going to this option, capture the memory. When you click on the capture memory, it will give you a basically UI there, where it will be asking you what name you have to save it, what location you have to save it. And please note that wherever you are saving the memory dump, the location should be greater than the amount of RAM you are having in the system. For example, if you're having 16 GB of RAM into the system, the location should be having more than 16 GB of space for storing the memory dump. Because if you're taking the dump of the RAM, that means the data would always be about or more than 16 GB whenever you're capturing. If you're also capturing the page file, the data may be more. So in that case, if you are taking the memory dump of the system, please take it into a location which is having the greater size than what amount of RAM you are having into the system. Now you can use the Balkasoft Evidence Center, which is a paid tool for analyzing it, or also you can use Autopsy. So here you can load the RAM image, okay, the page file of the system, and you can do the analysis of it. So basically, this was the basic. Today I covered of the forensics again. So a little bit advanced of the forensics, but in coming session, if it is possible, we'll go into more specific into a single. So today I tried to cover a little bit about everything, like a little bit about memory forensics, little bit about network forensics, internet forensics, then disk forensics. So this was a little bit information about everyone, everything. Now, if you have any questions or doubts, you can just ask me out. Any questions? You can post them into the live chat. I'm checking it out. Yeah, surely, Namuna Sani, I'll be sharing the slides. And if anyone else has any questions or they require to contact me out, this is my contact details. Okay. If anyone wants the slide, they can ask me out personally also. I'll also be giving to Nikhil Ji. Yeah, providing him. And plus, if anyone wants to ask any questions, have any doubts, they can ask me out here. For what and why we use Multigo, right? Multigo is actually a tool which is basically used for OSINT, open source investigations. So Multigo is a tool which is basically carving out data available into the open source world, and it is presenting you into a graphical manner in the form of graphs, into the forms of different kind of transitions. We can apply different kind of transitions into it, like we can filter the data, we can find out different kind of data, we can create graphs, we can create tables, we can create maps. Okay, so Multigo is the professional tool, and it's also available in the community edition, the free version. And it is basically doing all the OSINT data analysis. It is not a forensic tool. It is doing the OSINT. OSINT is something completely different from it. Anyone, any questions? Okay, I got this question here. Is it possible to find the keyword that is used in private mode of the browser? Yeah, the private browsing history can also be recovered in form of down. Okay, if you do forensics, so if someone is browsing something to recover it and you think that you are not able to abstract it out, yes, you can abstract it out, because whatever you browse into the system is basically being stored into the system. And if you are doing the cache analysis of the system, so yeah, you can get whatever you have done. Plus, another thing is, if you are not getting it from the device, you can also get it from the ISP, because whatever you are browsing in the incognito, it is being hidden. It is being just not stored in your browser, but your network logs will definitely reveal whatever you have searched it out. Some more questions I can see here. Dark web forensic by which tool? Dark web forensic tool by bootable USB. We need to do memory dump. Okay. Yeah, you need a bootable USB. You can create a bootable USB, and you can also use some kind of software like FTK Major. They can easily be booted into a USB. From that also you can take the memory down. Is it possible to check which VPN is used by system and the network logs during this image investigation? Yes, if the VPN software was being installed into the system, definitely there will be the logs of which VPN system was installed. If the VPN has any client. Guidance for cloud forensic, which open source tool is used for performing digital forensic on Android internal storage. Okay, yeah, for mobile forensics, the free tool. Okay, someone share the tools also. So I'll be doing one thing. I'll be posting a list of tools separately out to the Faizan, and he can share you out later. Okay, so it will be a completely free list. And if you want to also browse the free list, the bigger list is available on dfi.diva. Okay, so dfi.diva has a lot of tools available where you can get all the tools open source and free, also the paid one. Okay, for the forensic investigation. Rest, there is one more shift is there. Science Investigative Forensic Toolkit is there, SIFT, which can also be used. And you have also one MVT, Mobile Verification Toolkit. If I name a few here. There are a lot of questions. I cannot even read. ADP is possible to find keyword for stock and list. Okay, can you guide for stock and list? Yeah. See, SOC is actually the part of IR domain. It does not come in digital forensics. It's a part of IR domain. Oxygen forensic is paid or free. Oxygen forensic is not free. It is paid. Okay. Can you guide for SOC and list? See, for SOC, you have to have a good understanding of a network. Okay, you have to have a good understanding of how the systems, the routers, different systems or communication systems are working. Okay, and for the SOC, you have to have a good understanding of SIEM systems, how the SIEM systems are working, how to work with Splunk, how to work with QRadar, how to work with different kind of SOC tools. So the SOC is a completely different field. For SOC, if I'll have a session on incident response someday, I'll be telling in that. Digital forensics is different. Now next one, how can I recover overwritten data from a disk? See, the overwritten data cannot be recovered. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you. Really sorry. That data which is formatted, which is deleted, can be recovered. Overwritten data and wiped data cannot be recovered. Overwriting, if you're overwriting some data, the data recovery chances are 0 and nil actually. You cannot recover the data which is overwritten. Browser like Tor. See, Tor is completely different than the normal browser. Okay. Tor browser is completely different. It is connected to a Tor circuit. That basically comes into dark web. For instance. Sure, if there will be any some other session where I can give a live thing, so maybe I'll have a session if possible of Autopsy or FTK, where I can show you someday how the live forensic analysis goes on. Unless I already have, I guess, a video on Autopsy in India only. You can see how the analysis comes to Autopsy. Can I use this method through right now to recover my lost files? Yeah, you may use different disk forensic tools available there for recovering the files. Similarly, there is one tool called we have disk rigger. We have different kind of tools there. We have FTK is there. We have NK is the free version are there. All the free tools which are available, you can use them to recover the data from your drives. Yeah, but they have some limitations of recovering a specific amount of data only and specific amount of file only. The paid versions has the complete freedom to recover everything. So yeah, carving is possible through free tools, but it will be a limited. For Android, we have very less amount of tools, but yeah, if you go for the forensic operating system like CAINE is there, CAINE, computer aided investigative environment. Okay, and if you go for depth, Zero, which is also a forensic operating system, then we have Nordic Zero. PPIX, Nopix STD. Okay, and we have Paladin is there. Okay, PALDIN. These are some operating systems which are having preloaded tools, and rest I will say go for SIFT. SANS has a pre-operating system called SIFT, which you can use through Ubuntu. Okay, so that is also having a lot of tools available for different kind of forensic analysis. It's a bundle of operating free open source tools. So these are operating systems which are preloaded with only forensic tools. Like Kali is for penetration testing and for red teaming. We have also some operating systems which are available for the blue teaming. So similarly, we have the dev game. See the resources required for starting with digital forensics. I already told you, go for DFI, DIVA, study from there. Then you have different kind of websites there where you can study it out. And you have the start.me/digital forensics, the forum where you can go and check it out. So that's all for today. Okay. Now, Faizan, you shall post the quiz. First, people are asking for the quiz, and thank you for inviting me for the quiz session. Hope we have some practical session or the live session in coming time. Rest, if anyone want to ask me anything regarding digital forensics, they can directly contact me out and they can ask me out. So thank you for today's session. You may take over.
Thank you for the amazing. Thank you for the amazing session, sir. Actually, there was some delay in the quiz processing. So the forms are open now. You can just visit the link tree directly. Link tree default link slash link tree linktr.ee/cybersecurity India. So can you demonstrate the link that I have posted in the chat? Actually, I am unable to post it in YouTube chat for the moment.
Okay, see, this is the link.
So you can direct all the attendees can directly visit this link and submit the quiz for today and the feedback for this amazing session that you guys had and took us with him for the deeper dive. You will say actually there is some. Great. Thank you for sharing your screen.
I'm just sharing my screen and showing you the link. Okay.
Yep.
Just sharing my screen and showing you the link. See, this is the link here. You want to see the link? Wait, I'm pasting it into some file and showing you out. Faizan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, should I show the screen on the screen?
Yeah.
The link on the screen? Okay, wait.
Yes, sir.
I'll be sharing the screen. So we will got to see the link. See the link. This is the link available here. You all can just see it out.
For those of you who are having doubts that the quiz link, quiz questions are same, so remember, quiz is just for marking your attendance. It is all about gaining knowledge from these sessions. So the quiz link will be open for the next 20 minutes. It will be open till 7:50. I will be concluding the session here as we have already went to the Q&A, and the amazing session has unfortunately, but yeah, it has came to an end. Thanks a lot for your time and effort, sir. You will, sir. We appreciate you sharing it.